So if you've spent any time looking into the world of tech or, even business strategy lately, you know that product management seems to be everywhere.
It's at the center of so many organizations.
But the challenge is if you try to research it, you drown. There's this ocean of tactical advice, which framework to use, how to run a stand-up meeting.
Exactly. And that's what really motivated this deep dive. We're not here to give you another checklist of, daily PM tasks.
Right.
Our sources all point to the idea that effective product management isn't really a job description. It's a discipline. It's an intellectual model.
It's what we've been calling the day two understanding.
Right. It's the cognitive operating system underneath it all. The
Yeah.
thing that drives how products actually succeed or, well, fail.
Exactly. So we want to get past all the surface level jargon and really map out the underlying logic. Our mission for you today is pretty simple. We're mapping the entire architecture.
We're going to break down the essential PM mindset, then the foundational skills, the 6 pillars, and then show how it all connects.
Through that clear three-part product development lifecycle, giving you a full structural map.
Think of it as the user manual for how great products are actually conceived, built, and then improved over time. And there's really no better place to start than the mindset itself.
Because that defines the quality of every single decision that gets made down the line.
It all starts there.
So the first, and I think you could argue it's the most crucial shift, is adopting what's called problem-first thinking.
Mhm.
Now, this seems obvious, right? Surely everyone starts with the problem, but we know that's just not the reality.
Not at all, especially in these fast-paced environments where you have stakeholders constantly bringing you solutions.
We need a new button here.
That's the one. And it takes this counterintuitive discipline to resist that urge to just immediately jump to a feature. The PM's instinct has to be to become the chief interrogator,
To stop the team.
to stop the team and ask, okay, what is the root problem we are solving here? Who does it impact? And maybe most importantly, why does this matter right now?
I think that why now question is so critical because it just forces prioritization.
It does.
It makes sure you aren't fixing some tiny symptom that only impacts, a fraction of a percent of your users when you have a massive retention problem somewhere else.
Precisely. If they can't clearly articulate the problem, the solution is immediately suspect. This discipline is what lets them push back on those internal feature requests that don't have clear user value.
It turns every conversation into a structured debate about impact.
Always about impact.
And that impact is always rooted in the second piece of the mindset, which is this relentless user centricity. And we're not just talking about, sending out a quick survey.
No, this is much deeper. It's almost anthropological.
A kind of empathy.
That's a great way to put it. It goes far beyond what users say they want. Our sources highlight that great PMs, they focus on these deep, often hidden elements.
Like what?
The user's true motivations, their frustrations with how things work now, and the specific context they're in when they're trying to solve their problem.
And this is where that famous concept comes in, right? The jobs to be done framework.
Yes. JTBD is really the ultimate expression of this. It says that people don't buy products, they hire them to do a job, to solve a specific life problem.
The classic example is the drill bit.
The classic. Nobody buys a quarter-inch drill bit because they want a drill bit.
They want a quarter-inch hole.
They want a quarter-inch hole. The job is the hole, not the bit.
And that reframing makes the distinction so clear. Your competition isn't just other drill companies.
Right.
You might be competing against someone who just decides to hang the picture with tape instead. You have to understand that true underlying need.
And if you get the job to be done, you can innovate around the user's actual need instead of just making a slightly better version of the old product.
Which leads us straight to the ultimate North Star for this mindset.
Outcomes over output.
Outcomes over output.
This is such a huge aha moment for so many people. You think your job is done when you complete the sprint or deploy the feature?
You check the box, that's the output. But that's not victory.
Absolutely not. Shipping features is just a means to an end. It's not the end itself. The victory is the impact that feature has on user behavior or on the business.
So a great PM is translating everything into measurable outcomes.
Constantly. Are we seeing more people activate? Is cohort retention getting better? Did we save the user time? Did it actually reduce churn? I mean, if you ship a beautiful feature that nobody uses, it's a failure.
A failure of outcome.
Exactly.
But doesn't that create a lot of internal pressure? I mean, if
Yeah.
you spend 6 weeks building something and the outcome metric doesn't move, how do PMs deal with that kind of uncertainty?
They cope because comfort with ambiguity is, well, it's baked into their operating system. They just know that perfect information is a fantasy.
The role itself exists at the intersection of all these unknowns.
Totally. What the user wants, what's technically possible, what the business needs. A great PM doesn't freeze up when they face uncertainty. They see it as their main job. They're the ones who have to bring clarity where there is none.
And they do that by breaking down that big uncertainty into the smallest testable thing they can.
Instead of building the entire ship, they build a raft and just see if it floats.
I like that.
And while they're building that raft, they also have to be exercising systems thinking. You can't just go and optimize one tiny part of the experience without thinking about the ripple effects.
That sounds like avoiding local optimization, where you say, make one dashboard super fast, but that change accidentally slows down the entire checkout flow.
And that is the danger. Systems thinking forces you to look at dependencies, at trade-offs, at the second-order effects. If we launch this, how does it strain customer support? If we speed this up, does it drive our costs through the roof?
They have to spot those ripples
Across the entire ecosystem. And to manage all of that, they rely on something the sources call collaborative leadership.
This is the big soft skill.
It's the essential one. PMs almost never have direct authority over engineers or designers. They can't just tell them what to do.
They lead by influence, not by title.
Exactly. They orchestrate the team. They make sure everyone shares the same definition of the problem and the same vision for the outcome. Their success is totally dependent on their ability to build alignment and inspire that sense of shared ownership.
Okay, so we've got the cognitive OS, the how PMs think. Now let's turn to the deployable skills. What are the foundational disciplines they need to have in their toolkit?
Right, the things that translate that mindset into actual action. If the mindset is the engine, these are like the wheels and the suspension.
And we have to start with the human element. Use an understanding.
This is the bedrock. It's all the practical hands-on work you do to actually know your customer.
So conducting interviews, running usability tests.
All of it. Deeply analyzing user journey maps to find the real pain points and then synthesizing all of it. The qualitative insights, like quotes and frustrations, with the quantitative data, like conversion drops.
You can't make good decisions without it.
Impossible. Now, moving beyond the user, we get to the second pillar, which is the big viability check. Business and market understanding.
So it's the PM's job to make sure that what the user wants also creates viable business value.
Precisely. If your product is super popular, but it costs more to run than it makes in revenue, that's a failure of the PM mandate. They have to understand revenue models, margins, unit economics.
Market segments, legal hurdles.
All of it. And that gives you that essential three-part test. The product must be desirable for the user, viable for the business, and feasible for the tech team to build.
The classic Venn diagram. You have to be in that sweet spot where all three circles overlap.
If you only hit one or two, you fail. Now, pillar 3 is data and insights. And our sources are very clear here. The PM doesn't have to be a data scientist,
But
but they must be an exceptional interpreter of data signals. They have to turn the numbers into a narrative.
so what does that look like practically? What's the base level of literacy they need?
It's a few key things. Funnel analysis, so you can see where users are dropping off. Cohort retention analysis to see if users stick around over time. And a solid grasp of A/B testing fundamentals.
They define the KPIs.
And then they interpret the story those metrics are telling. And crucially, they distinguish between correlation and causation.
Which feeds directly into the last pillars, strategy and execution. Let's do strategy first.
Strategy is the high-level roadmap. It's about defining the product vision, making sure it aligns with business goals, sizing opportunities,
And then prioritizing.
and using rigorous prioritization frameworks. It all comes down to answering that one question. Why are we spending the company's most precious resource engineering time on this thing right now?
And execution is where that strategy becomes reality.
Yep. This is the craft. It's writing clear, precise requirements like PRDs or user stories, choosing the right delivery process, whether that's Scrum or Kanban, and managing all the trade-offs when reality hits the plan.
So we have the mindset. We have the skills. Now let's look at the process, the engine that cycles over and over to build and improve things.
The product development lifecycle. Yeah. And it really simplifies this whole complex process into 3 clear stages.
And that clarity is the PM's job to create.
It is. Stage 1 is discovery. And this is the stage that separates the great teams from the merely good ones, because it's where all that problem-first thinking gets applied.
So the purpose here is just pure validation.
Pure validation. Is the problem real? Is it important? Is it solvable? And is it worth the business investment right now?
The activities are all investigative.
Exactly. Root cause analysis, building rapid prototypes, and one of my favorites, running fake door tests.
Okay, let's pause on that one,
Yeah.
because that's a phenomenal nugget of insight for anyone listening. What is a fake door test, and why is it so valuable?
A fake door test is just a way to measure genuine user intent without building the actual feature.
How does it work?
You might put a button or a menu item for a new feature on your website, and when a user clicks it, they just get a simple message like, coming soon, or join the waitlist.
And you just measure the clicks.
You measure how many people click. It tells you if the desire is actually strong enough to be worth the development cost. It validates real market behavior, not just what someone says in a survey.
That's a perfect example of outcome over output, just applied before you even build anything. You're measuring intent.
Exactly.
So what's the strict exit criteria for discovery? When do you know you can move on?
You can't go to delivery until you have a validated problem, validated desirability from the market, clear success metrics defined, and a feasible, agreed-upon solution. If you start building without that, you are just gambling.
Once that's locked in, we move to stage 2, delivery.
Actually building and launching the product, safely and reliably.
This is where execution is everything.
It is. The goal is to hit the outcome that you defined back in discovery. So you're doing detailed rollout planning, using tools like feature flagging.
I think feature flagging is another one of those technical details that really shows the PM's role in managing risk.
It's so important.
You can turn a feature off instantly if it causes a problem, right?
Instantly, it minimizes the blast radius.
Yeah.
And during delivery, the PM is also the one coordinating all the other teams, support, marketing, legal, and making sure there's a monitoring and alerting plan in place.
So you know the moment something breaks.
Exactly.
And once it's out in the wild, we hit stage 3, iteration.
Or continuous improvement. The work is never done.
The purpose here is just rigorous analysis.
Did the product actually deliver the value we expected? So you're analyzing launch metrics, you're checking your guardrail performance. Did optimizing feature A cause a problem over in area B, and looking for unexpected user behaviors?
And the outcome of the stage feeds right back into the next round of discovery.
It creates that virtuous circle. The iteration phase ends with a clear decision. Do we scale this, improve it, pivot, or sometimes do we just kill the feature because the metrics never moved?
So we've mapped the process, but all that complex strategy needs to be organized for the teams building it. And that's where the core PM artifacts come in.
Right, these are the operational documents. They bridge that gap between strategy and execution. They're the lifeblood of transparency and alignment.
Let's start with the one for a specific project, the PRD, the Product Requirements Document. Our sources really stress that this is not some rigid waterfall-style document that you file away after launch.
That is the crucial distinction.
Yeah.
A modern PRD is a living, evolving document. It has to capture the fundamental why, the problem, the objectives, the success metrics, alongside the what.
The user stories, the rollout plan.
The analytics plan, all of it. It ensures everyone, from engineering to design, understands the ultimate goal.
And next, the broader strategic tool, the roadmap.
The roadmap is, first and foremost, a communication tool. And it has to communicate direction, not promises.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means it should reflect sequencing and confidence levels. So instead of a calendar with fixed dates, a lot of teams prefer an outcome-based roadmap. You'll see things like now, next, and later.
So it's about strategic bets, not deadlines.
It tells stakeholders what the team is focusing on and why.
And the tactical sibling to the roadmap is the backlog.
That's the list of all upcoming work epics, stories, tasks. A healthy backlog is meticulously refined, usually weekly, and it has to be prioritized based on a mix of user value, business value, and risk.
And the key here is traceability.
Yes, every single item in that backlog has to trace clearly back to a roadmap outcome. If a story doesn't serve a strategic goal, it shouldn't be in there.
Okay, finally, let's tie all this measurement discipline together with the complete metrics stack. This is a framework that gives PMs a universal language for success.
This is fundamental. We can break measurement down into 4 interconnected types that you can apply to any project right away. At the very top, you have the North Star metric.
This represents that long-term true product value.
Exactly. It ties back to the company mission. It might be something like active users who complete a core task.
So if the North Star is the goal, then we need boundaries for the journey. Which brings us to this fascinating concept of guardrail metrics.
Guardrail metrics are maybe one of the most essential insights for a maturing PM. They are crucial safety measures. They're designed to prevent harmful side effects when you're optimizing for your North Star.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say your North Star is time spent in app. A good guardrail might be customer support tickets filed.
Oh, I see.
You don't want to increase engagement so aggressively that you accidentally make users more frustrated or break the system. They force you to look at the whole system.
It prevents those local optimizations we talked about earlier.
So that's what they're for. And that immediately gives a PM the leverage to argue for responsible, ethical optimization. You can't just chase one number at all costs.
You have to maintain the health of the whole ecosystem.
Absolutely. Then you have your day-to-day drivers, input metrics. These are the controllable things you can influence directly.
Like number of emails sent.
Or features released per week.
Yeah.
These are the leading indicators of effort. And finally, you have output metrics. These are the ultimate lagging indicators of business impact.
So total revenue, market share.
Reduced operating costs, that sort of thing. Measurement really starts in discovery and just continues indefinitely through iteration.
You know, if we synthesize this entire map, you can really see how all the pieces interlock.
They fit together perfectly.
The PM mindset, that problem first, outcome-driven thinking, that guides how you think. The PM foundations define what skills you use. The life cycle ties the whole process together, and the artifacts operationalize it for the team.
A strong PM is, in the end, the person who combines all of it: user empathy, strategic thinking, rigorous execution, to create clarity from just overwhelming ambiguity.
And drive those meaningful, measurable outcomes for both the users and the business.
That's a job.
That ability to translate ambiguity into a clear, testable hypothesis and a measurable outcome it's just a profound skill.
It is. I
Yeah.
mean, think about the discipline it takes to define a guardrail metric, or to relentlessly push for the root cause of a problem in discovery.
That whole operating system.
That insistence on understanding the why before you even touch the what. It's not limited to software. That is a universal, powerful approach for defining success, for managing risk, and for driving real results in any complex, ambiguous project you ever take on.
So you're walking away today with a universal operating system for complexity. Go find your North Star, define your guardrails, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.